Good morning, gang. Happy Sunday morning. Forgive me if I sound a little hoarse. I've got a sore throat this morning. Mrs. P said she had one yesterday, and now I've got one. So we'll see what shakes out with this. Hopefully, it just goes away. So we've all heard the phrase, it doesn't matter who votes in an election, it's who counts the votes in an election. Okay. Don't have to remind anybody what happened in 2020. Okay. And as much as the media says, oh, nothing happened, you make your own decision. Okay. I don't know. 2,000 Mules kind of opened a lot of eyes, I think. So, what you've got going on now is a lot of people in the country being disenfranchised from the voting process that we have in the country. This whole early balloting, mail in voting, all this sort of crap, which, in my opinion, is a complete farce. All right. Certainly isn't needed. The easy solution: make election day a federal holiday, like most other countries do. Everybody goes and votes in person, and that's it. If you're military, yeah, you get to do an absentee vote. Otherwise, get your ass to the polls. Okay. Otherwise, shut up. If you're too lazy to sit there and go stand in line, I guess you don't get a voice. That's it. Okay. I'm sick of kowtowing to all these people who playing video games is more important than, having a say in the future of our country. And of course, I know there will be people in the comments who go, voting doesn't matter, everything's selected, yet whatever, okay? Go watch the Cartoon Network, and, that's it. I'm still going to believe in the founding principles of this country. And you're not going to change my mind otherwise. I'm not going to change your mind, and I really don't care if I don't, okay? If you don't think it's important, don't vote, okay? But then I'm going to say this again. If you don't bitch. You didn't earn that right. So what you've got going on now is states, primarily battleground states, who are trying to avoid the chaos, even the picture that they are not completely above board. You've seen stories lately on states that have cleaned out their voter rolls. I forget what state it was, but some state cleaned out their voter rolls and found that they went back to 1969 and found that they hadn't cleaned out the dead people off of it. I mean, Christ, I was 3 years old. So, somebody that was 60 in 1969, probably not here anymore. Guaranteed not here anymore. Okay. So at least there seems to be a little bit of cleanup, which, in my view, would also be a little bit of admission, but I can't prove it, so it's what it is. So you've got these states that are finding that they need help, okay? I'm going to give you this. South Carolina, obviously now it is the first presidential primary state because, Iowa and New Hampshire, they didn't vote for Joe enough. And, so we've got to go to South Carolina because Joe has better standing there. Since 2020, half of their county election directors have resigned. Okay, they're looking at putting $3.2 million into their budget to help establish a new training division, enhance their technical support. Gee, that'd be a good idea. Okay, and they want another $1.2 million to hire 7 more staff members, including a public information officer who could tell the media what's going on. Good deal. Georgia, okay, Georgia's adding about $500,000 to hire a couple of investigators, an admin assistant, and an executive director to their state election board. Arizona is adding $11 million to establish an election task force and another $3.1 million in other election-related spending, okay, including, adding employees to train people, certify election workers, yada, yada. Wisconsin, adding $1.9 million to hire 10 more people for staff to staff their Office of Election Transparency and Compliance. North Carolina is adding money to the budget to hire more regional staff. Nevada, Oregon, Michigan, they're also doing this sort of stuff. Okay. Now, you can look at it two ways. You can go, oh, this is just a bunch more spending by the government to put their people in place. Right? I mean, a lot of people will say that. In the big picture, adding $500,000, $1.2 million, $1.9 million, to you and me, that's a lot of money. To a state budget, that's pocket change. Okay? What the encouraging thing, at least to me, is they're going to add people to the election staff, whether they are poll workers or communication officers or whatever. So we, the people, can get more information, potentially faster and potentially more accurate. Okay. There's no reason why we need to wait 3 days to find out who won an election. You have countries around the world who 2 hours after the election is over tell you who the winner is. Okay. Granted, we've got 5 time zones, including Alaska and Hawaii, that we need to deal with. Okay, so there's 5 hours, but it's not like there's any risk of Hawaii voting red or Alaska voting blue. So not a whole lot of worry about that last time zone. So what should we do? Well, here's an idea. Get off our ass and go take some of these jobs. We can bitch all we want about, gee, you know what, somebody was pulling a suitcase out from under a table. Okay? You know, who knows? You could be there. You could be that election worker and say, no, this ain't going to happen. Okay? Or where'd that come from or something? The whistleblower. Okay? The set of eyes. People say, well, I don't have time. I've got to go to work. Okay? A lot of people do. They're not talking about hiring tens of thousands of people. I mean, you know, how many counties in South Carolina? I mean, what? I don't know. I'm guessing 80. Okay. You know, if they lost half their county election directors, that's 40. Out of a guess. I hear from people a lot, well, you know, I don't have the money for this. I don't have the money for that. I get it. Okay. Money's tight for everybody. Election workers get paid. Not too bad, too. Okay. You get paid for your training. You get paid for early voting. You get paid for election day. It's not a full-time job or anything like that. But hey, if you can go make an extra $1,000 being some eyes and ears right there in the middle of everything to make sure that it's good enough for you that everything is on the up and up and get paid for it, where's the problem? It's a couple of days of work. Okay. I mean, that's it. We're not talking difficult. We've all gone to vote. Okay. There's somebody sitting at a desk. You're going, okay, what's your name? They find your name on there. They turn the paper around. You sign it and you move on to the next. We're not talking manual labor here. You know, okay, so you get paid for it. But, you know, I've said many times, it's important for us to get involved in the democratic process. And it's great that everybody has an opinion on what happens in elections. Okay, no problem. But what are you doing about it? And that's the overwhelming thing I see in comments all the time. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, here's an idea. Go volunteer to be a poll watcher, okay? Or go apply to be a poll worker. It's a couple of days, but maybe you are the one who makes sure that everything is on the up and up in 2024 and we don't get the 2 o'clock in the morning surprise. Just a thought. Pinball out.